Everybody, welcome back to the Spurs 9501 podcast. This is a post-match reaction with Cam in Georgia, myself, Ray in London. What an utter shambles of a performance against Bournemouth, Cam. What do you say?
Well, like I said, Spurs like to set records, don't they? And it's the first time that Bournemouth have ever beaten Tottenham at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So congratulations to them.
Congratulations, yeah.
You may also remember I did predict that we are the club, part of the contract for the players says that where clubs are in trouble, they're about to be relegated. Please make sure they get 3 points at the Tottenham Hotspur Stadium. So the players fulfill that part of their contract today.
Yeah, we would have been breached of contract if we hadn't let them won. So
absolutely, the season's going to hell. They're about to be relegated. Where do they need to come?
Yeah, this is one of the weakest teams supposedly in the whole league, and we can't beat them, Cram. And what is fundamentally wrong with this club? Is like a virus. What's wrong with it?
Well, be careful what you wish for, I say. Do you remember the days when we used to say how bad Ndombele was, how bad Soldado was, how Soldado could only score, 10 goals a season? Jensen could only score, 12 goals a season? Well, you know what? We can top you there. We'll give you Richarlison, who can score 0 goals per season. What are we going to do with that?
How did he miss that chance? Right? How did he?
Oh, and on top that, we'll pay 50 million for someone to not score a goal. You know what? I would do that for half the price. What about you, Ray?
Yeah, I'll do it for a third of the price. You know, I'm not picky here. But was that the miss of the?
If you get a chance to score, make sure you're offside. What was that? The 6th offside goal they got this season.
Yeah, it wasn't him offside. It was Danjuma was offside. To be fair, but anyway, he wasn't offside. It was Danjuma. But tell me, how did he miss? Is it in his contract that he's not allowed to score a goal because he missed a sitter header right in the from the corner?
Absolutely, it wasn't the first one. That goal goes in, it's a different game, isn't it? But it all comes back to shaky, leaky, baby Spurs. What mentality? A newborn's got better mentality than that when they're hungry.
You give it.
They don't try as hard.
Newcastle losing to Aston Villa opened a slight door, but then this is Spurs, they're not going to take control of that. They're going to just flop again as usual.
Well, I said we should be scared we're going to Newcastle. We should be scared we're going to Liverpool. We should be scared we're going to Aston Villa.
Yeah, I agree.
I don't see where our next win is coming from. This team was only capable of fluking a win at home. Well, we can't even do that anymore. So what you tell me who we're going to beat this season?
Yeah,
towards the end, and Wolves will be in relegation battle. Maybe we've got the 50 points to keep us safe. We're not going to go down, but that's about it. Do you want to beat? The question for you here, Ray, is if you're a new manager coming in, building on quicksand and scum that we've got, some of those players, would you want to also have the burden of Europe, or would you just want to be clean?
Totally agree. I do want to say one thing. It was totally despicable booing of your own player. The way, whether we like Davinson Sanchez is good or not, to boo your own player, I can't agree with that. It's disgusting from the Spurs fans. What do you think?
Well, in reality, if you're going to boo the players because they're bad, we should have booed every single player.
Yeah.
To
single him out. We'll talk about Porro in a minute. Hold your fire on Porro. But to single Sanchez out, I don't think was right. I was thinking that's not right at all. Whatever he is, he's got the Spurs shirt on. We should be supporting him.
Yeah, I agree with you there. But you've got to see the frustration from the fans' point of view. Everything that has just been happening with this club. And, as we said, we call them the Keystone Cop performances that they keep giving us. At some stage, people are just going to be fed up. And yes, it's probably not the right thing to do. It's not fair on the player, and specifically on Sanchez. He was called in at a short notice. He hadn't had time to settle. He was put in with such a shaky midfield and back four that everyone was crumbling around him. But unfortunately, he got that last touch.
Tell me what you think about Pedro Porro's performance.
Well, Pedro Porro, I think at the back is worse than someone trying out for a high school team. To be honest with you, when you see this kid comes on and he thinks he knows what he's doing, and all the kids start nutmegging him and taking the ball around him, and they're just standing there, and you think, well, okay, maybe he's good going forward and can score some goals and get in the right place. He's a right back. He's supposed to be able to defend. He's supposed to be able to do something. Both those goals were Pedro Porro's fault, I thought. Both of them. Well, the third one, I mean, was it Porro that was turned, or who was turned so easy? I can't remember, but it was just a joke, isn't it?
The first goal was Porro's mistake as well.
But before that, before the first goal, how many mistakes had he already made?
Yeah, but I was told, we just need Pedro Porro as a right winger, and then everything's going to be fine. We need to sign him. Blah blah blah. People were up in arms when they signed him, but now I'm under strange position. I wish Emerson Royal was playing there because at least this guy can defend.
And he was playing well.
Yeah.
I mean, the problem is you've got two of the weakest players on the right side with Kulusevski, and God knows who he is right now, and Porro together. It just makes us look like a complete joke. Neither of them can cross, neither of them can pass, neither of them can hold the ball, neither of them can defend, neither of them can attack. And the whole of that right side was a complete joke.
Other than that, they're pretty good players.
Other than that, yeah, exactly. Well, I'm sure Kulusevski will be a great player when he goes back to Juventus. And my view is, like I said to you earlier, Ray, is he's probably playing like this because he doesn't want us to get top four. That way we don't have to sign him. He probably is the only way to get out.
We're definitely not going to get top four. It's Newcastle and Man United will get top four. And they won't even have to break sweat to get it because we're not going to do anything. I fear for us at Newcastle, at Aston Villa, we're not going to do anything there. Liverpool, God knows what's going to happen to us there. We just can't defend.
I think that Spurs will get in the last 7 games left. Is there 8 games?
7 games left now. We played 31.
7 games left. We'll probably get 6 points.
So out of 21, we'll get 6, which we'll see. Yeah. So we'll end up about 59. But would you
end up 8th or 9th and just escape Europe if I was a new manager coming in? That's probably what I would want.
But who's going to come in? This shower of rubbish. Who's going to come in and try and? This is mission impossible, isn't it?
Yeah, of course it is. You're not coming in to do anything, are you? You're just coming in to get a nice fat salary and to keep us in the Premier League or keep us as pretenders as a top 6 club. I mean, other clubs will be coming in and they will be top 6. So this year we've seen Newcastle break into the top 6 and become a top 6. Next year Chelsea will come back, Liverpool will come back, and there's your top 6. There's no room in there for a shabby, useless Tottenham Hotspur. We're not a top 6 anymore, are we? Because Newcastle have taken that from us. Villa will take it from us next year too. So will Brighton. I mean, Brighton just not beat Chelsea. Brighton were extremely unlucky not to win.
They should have beaten us as well. That should have been Tottenham as well last if it wasn't for VAR. Yeah,
easily beaten us 5-2. So they'll come in and they'll be if you're talking about a top 8, we won't even be a top 8 club. So would you care who the manager is? Who cares who the bloody manager is?
No. They should have beaten Chelsea about 4 or 5 as well. I saw glimpses of the match. Yeah. But going back to Tottenham, let's talk about it again. What about the midfield? Højbjerg and Skip. My God, I don't think I've seen any.
I don't know why people
Højbjerg didn't do anything.
Laurel and Hardy in my last thing, which you should have put up as the title. Because
I'm sorry about that. I will.
That's all right. I think they were Laurel and Hardy. I wanted to think that maybe I was harsh, maybe I was wrong, but I'm so glad that they proved me right today. Because those two, I mean, what can I say? I think Højbjerg is a much better player than Skip. I think Skip is an excellent player for Division 1 or a mid-table championship team. Absolutely fantastic. Send him back to Norwich. Maybe they wouldn't have lost 4-1 or whatever they did today. They might have lost 4-3 or 2-1. And he might have saved them a bit. Brilliant. Is he cutting it since up here at Tottenham Hotspur? Well, I ask you one thing. You had Winks allegedly don't cut it. Lo Celso don't cut it, but Skip does. I mean, that is the mentality of this club. The guy who would have won a World Cup medal if he hadn't been injured, don't cut it. The guy who is at Napoli and is just about to win the Scudetto, don't cut it, right? Winks, who's now playing in Italy, don't cut it. But this guy does. It's a complete joke. And that's Tottenham Hotspur for you, ladies and gentlemen.
Yeah, no, I mean, why not take Skip off and bring Pape Sarr on?
Bring who up?
Pape Sarr. I mean, he can't do any worse than Skip, can he?
No, he can't. He can give away a penalty in the last minute, but we gave away a goal.
That wasn't really a penalty. I don't blame him for that. That wasn't a penalty. He shouldn't have swung his leg at it, but it wasn't a penalty. But listen, let me ask you, how do you think Danjuma did today?
Well, he did 100% better already in 50 minutes of football than Richarlison's done all season.
Yeah.
So, I mean, what can you say? I mean, he's 100% better.
I mean, he should have been brought on. He should have got a lot more game time than he's had. I mean, you bring him on. He's had hardly 26 minutes of game time, and at least he scored a goal in his first.
Well, Stellini changed the shape, right? But Stellini showed how he still cowers in fear, and he proved himself to be a coward today in my eyes. An absolute coward. You know why he was a coward?
Why?
Because he had the guts to change the shape, but didn't have the guts to take off Kulusevski, didn't have the guts to change the midfield, didn't have the guts to really go for it, right?
Yeah, that's true.
Kulusevski got the ball, lost it every time, couldn't cross the ball. Hoik him off, get somebody in there, get one of the youngsters on. If he had any guts, he would have had Alfie Devine in there, anybody. Yeah, we might have lost, but we would have tried at least, right? But he proved himself to be an absolute coward.
Yeah, he should have gone 3 at the back and then 5 up top, 2 in the middle, 3-2-5. Go for it, man. You got nothing to lose.
Change those players that weren't performing.
Yeah.
But he didn't. He's a coward.
Yeah. Well, he's not really going to be our manager next season, is he?
No, he isn't. And clearly, after today's performance, absolutely no chance they should even be there till the end of the season.
Well, he's going to be there till the end of the season. We've got nobody else.
That is a mistake. That's why we're not going to win anything. What incentive has he got to win anything? He now knows that he can't get anything from this team. He hasn't got the balls to do what needs to be done. So what is his incentive to win any of these games? What actually is he? What is he winning them for? What, a future contract? For a bonus?
Well, he apparently in the press conference, he said it wasn't the system, it was the individual errors that cost today.
Everyone says. I'm sure that's what Lampard will say about Chelsea.
Yeah.
No. I think that the change of the system was good, but he changed it. But he was a coward because the individual errors, you could see the players that needed to be taken off. And he should have given somebody a chance, one of the youngsters, somebody a chance. But that Kulusevski does not want to play for this club. Why is he playing week in, week out? Yeah? We all know he was a better player than that, but he didn't want to play. He lost the ball. He can't cross them, overhits the ball. No interest at all. Body language is wrong. Why is he playing?
What's happened to him then? Why has he become like this, Cam?
Because he wants to go back to Juventus. We don't make top 4. We can't sign him. Well,
Juve are not in top 4 either, are they?
Where would you want to play right now? Where would you want to play?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I wouldn't want to play this rubbish club. I tell you the truth. But Cam, there must be some positives that we can take from. Is there an inch of positive? At least the Danjuma goal is a positive. Who else do you think played well?
Son had a good game. He tried hard. He have to pass. He looks a lot better than he did before. Kane was hopeless today.
Kane's lost interest, I think, hasn't he?
Yeah. And I suppose Danjuma and Son looked a bit better. Your goalkeeper, I mean, did you really expect him to save anything? He just wouldn't do it. I mean, Romero, I suppose, on his own, couldn't really do anything.
How did Longley play? Because after Longley went off, it all went pear-shaped, didn't it? How do you think Longley did?
He seemed to hold it a bit more together. What I don't understand with this team is that we get sliced through by Bournemouth. They look like Barcelona in their heyday. I mean, can you imagine playing some of these other teams that we're about to play? Can you imagine the field day that Man United will have on this ground with these players?
It's going to be embarrassing, I think. I think it's going to be embarrassing.
Well, if Bournemouth can play like that, right, against us and just run off and score that goal. And I don't know which player he put on his butt to score that goal. But, I mean, God, that was babies. I mean, it was so... Well, we couldn't do it. Of course, none of our players can do it, but Bournemouth can do it. First, by the way, that guy's first goal in the Premier League.
For 2 years. 2 years, yeah. Namin, I can't remember what his name is anyway. The guy scored Vina or something. It's his first goal for 2 years. Right? It's always Dr. Tottenham. If you're in trouble and you've got a problem, come to Dr. Tottenham. Tell you the truth, I don't mind. If we're going to lose to somebody, I'd rather lose to Bournemouth. They seem like a nice club. Let them stay up.
I would rather lose if my coach wasn't such a coward and put on the youngsters and said, these guys are not cutting it. They haven't got the blood in their veins, right? I'm going to put on blood some youngsters there because it looks like it's over for us, right?
It's over. It's absolutely over. The season's over now anyway.
The fans would have got behind those kids. The fans would have got behind them and said, we're trying. We've got a coach who's got something about him. He's doing something. But he hasn't got the balls. He's a coward.
Yeah, he's a coward. Okay, Cam, I mean, let's sum it up for us now before we close the podcast. What do you think? Give us a summary of what happened today, where we are, and what's going to happen in the future for this season. Anyway,
I don't think we're going to win any of the next 3 games. I don't think we're going to win any of the next 4 games. I think towards the end, I think we may do a little bit better because now the pressure is complete. We're still 5th. Once we drop down to 7th or 8th, the pressure will be off the players, and they may perform a bit better, and they may win a couple of games. But right now, whilst they're 5th, they're hopeless. They can't, whilst the fact that the other teams around us are not just pushing away like Newcastle should have and Man United should with their 2 games, so that it's completely out of reach. And then you might see the pressure lift from the players and they might play a bit better. But whilst there's a chance of us hitting top 4, they're going to be hopeless and never win again because they just are too scared of success. This club is too scared of success. The players are scared of success, and it's probably written in their contract to be scared of success. They're taught it. Most teams bring in a psychologist to actually improve performance. I believe Spurs bring in one to detract the performance, teach them how to be scared of winning. When you start winning, you need to crap yourself. That's what
Pedro Porro looked like a world beater when he's playing for Sporting. Absolutely. I think it was Sporting. But now he's come to Tottenham. Look at him. Look what he's become. He's become like, as you said, Bambi on ice. He can't defend. He can't.
Somebody sat him down and told him, listen, mate, all this winning and all this passing players and scoring goals ain't going to work here. Yeah, you got to fit in with the team. You're going to make the other players look bad. You're going to start playing badly yourself so they look good. That's why you're here. Yeah. And that's the mentality that we've got. I believe once we hit 7th, and it's not possible for us to rise anymore, we'll probably end up winning games because the pressure's off.
Yeah. And what about Daniel Levy? Final point on him. He's never going to leave this club. He's going to be there till he dies, I think. So nothing's going to change, is it?
Take it down with him. He's going to take it down with him. He's too shameless to leave.
Yeah.
Too shameless.
Okay, come on, you Spurs. We always say that, Cam. And what's your prediction for Newcastle? We'll do a post-match for Newcastle. But give me a score prediction.
Newcastle.
Will they score in the first half, all those 3 goals, or will it take?
Probably 1 in the first and 2 in the second.
Okay, and the scorers?
3 scorers for Newcastle. I mean, who cares? But it's going to be
Callum Wilson and Isak, I think.
Yeah, easy. Isak might even get a hat trick.
Okay. All right, Cam. Thank you.
But even Almiron looked good. I mean, always, don't forget, Joe Linton, who was never able to score against anybody, always scored against Tottenham. He'll probably get a hat trick because he's relative. He probably can't sleep at night knowing Spurs are coming back into town and he can finally get a few goals.
Oh, Cam, you made me laugh, mate.
Yeah,
okay, thanks for your time. You're gonna come on, you Spurs from you, Cam. Come on, you Spurs. We need.
Come on, you Spurs. Very sad, very unhappy day as a Tottenham fan.
Yeah, same here. Thank you very much.
Thanks.